revolved around you now. It's trapped inside the pain. Maybe I should stay in the dark after you've had it to a place too far away. Now all those crazy thoughts are going through my mind. A part of me I can't escape. Our love was so sublime. It doesn't make no sense.
Hello and welcome back, I'm Sean, and today we're going to talk about highly anticipated headphones from Edifier designed to challenge flagship headphones from like Sony and JBL at a super friendly price point. So will this be any good? Let's check it out. So starting with what I like about these headphones is definitely the sound signature, and I think it's rare to sometimes find gems that does everything well, and this is that kind of that rare occasion. And sound signature here is balanced, dynamic, giving good coverage of all the frequencies, which is very impressive. So I also like the battery life that you get with these headphones. Without ANC, you're going to get a whopping 92 hours of battery life, and even with ANC on, you're still going to get 53 hours, which is quite impressive. You're also going to get a quick charging feature here as well, so a 15 minutes charge will give you 11.5 hours of use without ANC. And I also like the fact that Edifier gives you a hard case to carry these headphones around, and at this price point, I think it's really awesome that Edifier includes this inside, and it's flat, compact, and easy to stuff in your bag. So there is also a feature called Touch to Chat, and I absolutely love that feature. So you can actually quickly hear announcements or talk to someone if you need to just by pressing on the right side of your ear cups. So there is also some attention to details to the design here, and I'll talk a little bit about that shortly in the design section. And the good news about these headphones is also the fact that it comes with good chipset, coming in with a Bluetooth 5.4 chipset with support for LDAC, AAC, and SBC. I also like the fact that when you use these headphones plugged in via the USB-C cable, you still get some controls such as volume, track skipping, and play and pause. You don't get ANC controls in this case since the headphones are not technically turned on. You also get to use the microphone when you use it plugged in, which is great for conference call if you want to use it wired. And finally, the volume range you get with these headphones is really impressive as well. So I hope to say that this is a perfect headphone, but it's not. So the things that can be better, and the first one is also subjective, which is the highs in the sound signature. At louder volumes, it may be too sharp for some people out of the box. I personally don't mind it, but this is also something that is easily remedied in the EQ of the app. So build quality could be better in my opinion as well, and the plastic used here, especially here if you take a look at the openings when I stretch it, it kind of looks very janky, like it's gonna break. As well as the extension arms that you get here. This one can also be a little bit more polished, as you know, we don't really see headphones that comes with this anymore. Usually it's more stealthy and it extends from the arm here instead. So all of these things are stuff that can be a little bit more polished considering the retail price of these headphones. I also wish the left and right indicators are more prominent, and it's quite hard to spot when I first get it. So the touch to chat feature is also very useful, but it takes quite a while to activate. To go into fully transparent and you can start talking. So there also isn't any water resistant rating, but I believe light drizzle or sweat isn't going to spoil the headphones, so just be careful not to get it soaking wet. Also with the ANC performance, I wish it could be a little stronger, especially with cancelling out high-pitched chatters and noisy cafes. So with that said, price-wise, this headphone comes in at around 699 Malaysian ringgit or around 150 US dollars, but now you should be able to see it discounted somewhere around 450 ringgit. So do take this opportunity to check them out. If you find value in what you hear and like what you see, do subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so the YouTube algorithm can pick this up. And if you want to buy these headphones, do check out my links below. So let's talk about the sound signature you get with these headphones. And I can assure you that you will love the sound signature here. Edifier made these headphones to be really balanced with an emphasis to perform well in every frequency range, be it the bass, the mid vocals, or the highs. And from my experience, you're going to feel a wide spectrum of sounds hitting you. So let's start with the bass performance, and the quality you get with the bass is very defined, high resolution in fact if you ask me. So you're not getting a whole lot of thick texture with the bass, but it rumbles subtly at the back end, especially for the mid bass. When you play songs with very pronounced sub bass, you're going to hear that the headphones handles them very well, with no hint of failing and even the deepest rumble. Then again, you're experiencing here a more high resolution or high definition bass rather than a thick rumbling bass. So mid vocals here is a nice middle plane, not recessed nor is it too forward. Very good, and listening to one of my favorite test songs, Falling Into You by Celine Dion, there is this part in minute 2:58, a deeper backup singer that I've never really noticed before. before kind of came alive with these headphones, and I can be quite certain that I've not noticed this before until now. So this is quite a liberating experience. So the highs here is also great. It sounds sharp, sparkly, and beautifully clingy, but I can imagine it being on the verge of a little bit too sharp for some people. But if you enjoy bright, sparkly sound signatures, then this headphones does that really well. With that said, you can see how this headphones does very well in all three major sound frequencies, especially when you pair it up with good audio source as well as using the LDAC codec. So this is a test to see if the Edifier ES850NB is a good headphones for making phone calls. So this means speaking in a relatively quiet environment, and this is a call quality that you can expect. So I'm going to do now is to turn on a simulated background noise so you can hear a difference. So now there's a simulated background noise playing in the background, and this is the call quality that you can expect from these headphones. So what do you think of the call quality? Let me know in the comment section down below. So I love how the headphones is designed really nicely. However, the parts that I still don't quite like is the extension arm, and this is a very old design. It could really use a nice internal expanding arm that extends from the arm here itself, which is not too difficult to implement. With this, you're still going to get an old school extension arm that kind of works, but don't look the most seamless. So the color that I chose here is a nice cream color white, which looks really premium. It does look a little different compared to the color on the box, where it's a tad bit more rose gold compared to the more muted kind of grey color here on the actual headphones. So the other sections on these headphones, such as the headband, the side arms here, are all made of decent quality plastic. You get a lot of faux leather parts here, especially on the top, the headband section. Although this is not memory foam, on the band here, it's still very comfortable to use. Heavily padded, so I don't actually touch the plastic bits inside, because some headphones, when you touch it, you can actually feel the plastic bars inside. So with these headphones, it does stretch pretty wide. This is as wide as it gets, but I noticed that the gaps at the arm here, as I've mentioned earlier, this kind of like, you can see that it's actually opening up. So I'm not too sure whether that's just for, helping it to stretch better, but it doesn't look that secure. So with this ear cup, you're going to get a nice swiveling, rotating, and folding arm to help you put away it nicely. And for a moment, I was looking for the left and right indicator. And here you can see that usually they put it inside the ear cups, but it's not here. So I was like looking everywhere for it, but it's actually right over here. Just a very small indicator on the arm here that tells you left and right. And the color of it is also the same color as the headphone, so it's really hard to see. But just to help you out a little bit, find the side with the controls right over here, and this will always be your right side. So the ear cups here is also made with some faux leather plastic, just a textured panel and not real leather. And the ear cups here is also using a soft protein leather memory foam pad, which is soft, very nice, but could be a little bit hot after using it for a while. So as mentioned earlier, the controls are all mainly on the right ear cups, easy to use and functional, along with the Type-C charging port and the microphones as well, which are all placed on the same ear cup. So I also like the attention to detail you get with these headphones, and I noticed that there's actually a black piece inside here somewhere. If you can see this black part here, and it's actually a rubber bumper, so that when the headphones actually tilt and hit the headband here, it doesn't get damaged, which is really thoughtful. Also, you do get a touch to chat feature on the right side ear cups. Great feature, but it does take about 4 seconds to go into full open mode. It'll also pause your music, but once you let go, it immediately goes back to playing audio. So you need to anticipate if someone might be talking to you and start pressing your ear cups. 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, it'll work. Finally, the headphones doesn't feel heavy to wear, coming in at 265 grams, so it's not tiring to wear. Alright, so with the ANC performance here, I think it does a good job overall for the price that you're paying for these headphones. It does very well in cancelling lower pitch noises, but not so much on the high pitch noises. So with the road noise test and airplane cabin noise test, it does well in reducing the noise level pretty substantially, but this needs to be accompanied by music, at least some soft music, and it'll work very well. With Noisy Cafe, these headphones doesn't do too well in cancelling out those noises, especially when someone is talking to you directly. You do hear their voices come through quite clearly. So personally, for every headphones or earbuds that I own, I never use anything less than high ANC. I don't see the appeal to use anything less than maximum performance and adjusting it all the time. And with these headphones, it's more important that you use it at maximum. So with that said, I'll rate the ANC performance here to be around 8.3 out of 10. So volume on these headphones is also really good, with a comfortable listening volume starting at only 20%, where you get a nice soft audio while not losing details on the highs and mid bass. Moving outwards of 55% starts to get loud, and this is a good volume range because it provides you with the most dynamic signature at this volume level. And moving outwards of 80 and 90% feels too loud for me, but still pretty usable. So with these headphones, you're getting a very wide volume range for most people's enjoyment. So you get a decent amount of feature with the Edifier Connex app. At the homepage, you will see your headphones, but unfortunately not color-coded to the model that you buy. Below that, you also get a battery percentage of your headphones. So on the first page, you get to adjust your ANC levels. You have 4 to choose from here. Personally, I always leave it at high, and if you want to adjust how you toggle through them, you can also do that in the app. Below that, you also get 3 EQ levels to choose from, and also to customize the EQ further, you get a 4-band EQ, but along with Q factor and frequency adjustments, so you can adjust them throughout the entire frequency range. Under sound mode, you get to choose between music, game, or spatial sound, which is great, but again, this is not going into gaming mode, rather to tune the EQ to give you a little bit more dynamic sound. Under the settings, there are a few good features here to toggle. First is to toggle the touch to chat feature. You also get controls remapping. This is also where you control the ANC toggle. You get multi-point toggle, and you also can find your headphones with this. So that's all the features you get with the Edifier Connex app. So I do notice that in the app, the sound mode doesn't switch the latency of the headphones. So music mode and game mode doesn't mean latency. It just changes the way the headphones sound like. But the good news is that the performance is pretty solid with good latency controls in games like PUBG. Still a tad bit lag, but overall still very playable. Watching movies and videos on this feels good with no issues at all. So let's take a look at the latency performance of these headphones. So overall, I think if you're getting this at a discounted price of 450 ringgit, I think it's well worth the price. ANC may not rival the big brands, but sound quality and other aspects definitely do. So if you want an almost premium ANC headphones, then this one is worth checking out. If you also want to check out other ANC headphones that I've reviewed before, here's a playlist over here to help you check those out. And if you want another video, do check out this video right over here, and I'll see you over at those videos.